becoming your own spiritual guide. Have you ever thought about it? Phillip Mountrose here in Palm Desert, California, the beautiful desert. My wife and partner Jane Mountrose and I help people step up, tap into the heart and soul with holistic coaching and healing. Today we're going to explore you becoming a spiritual guide. Have you ever thought about it? Because if you do so, some amazing things may open up, probably will open up in your life. You'll develop your own spiritual GPS system. And this can lead you into some amazing synchronous places that you didn't know existed beforehand, but your guidance will just take you there. You'll connect with internal resources, guides, higher beings. External resources will show up at the right time. And the interesting thing that most people don't realize is you don't have to meet any special criteria to become your own spiritual guide. You don't need a rare gift or talent. What do you need? Just the willingness, the decision to do so, and it opens up. And when it does, some remarkable, surprising, and delightful things follow. Let me share 6 wonderful benefits of becoming your own spiritual guide. And number 1, personalized guidance. It's going to accelerate. You're going to have a lot of ahas, transformations, stunning realizations. You'll just have things show up at the right time in the right place. And that's going to give you a lot of trust in yourself and the universe, and it's going to build confidence, which will radiate out to others as well. The second benefit of becoming your own spiritual guide is finding the right spiritual practices. It might be meditation, visualization, spiritual movements like yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, journaling, maybe dialoguing with higher parts of yourself, and other things that will lead you into some wonderful practices. And what are you practicing for? Well, you're practicing for becoming, and you are becoming with your spiritual guidance, the better version of yourself, following your heart, the higher trajectory, the brightest possible future. You're embracing that, and your perspectives widen and your heart opens as well. One spiritual practice Jane, my wife and partner, and I do daily, we exit our house, go out right outside, face the sunrise, and say this affirmation. Mighty God in me, I face thy eternal sunrise and receive its mighty radiance and activity visibly manifest in my experience now. And that wonderful saying came from Godfrey Ray King about a century ago, Ascension Instruction. The third benefit of becoming your own spiritual guide is you're going to expand your knowledge and deepen your understanding, because the right material is going to show up, the text, the podcast, the people. They're just going to be there when you want to, because that GPS, spiritual GPS system you're developing will just find it. And it's quite amazing that what will result is, again, your perspective broadens, your heart opens, and wonderful things result. Fourth benefit of becoming your own spiritual guide is finding the right mentors. You've heard the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and the mentors are those teachers. They've been where you want to go. They can show you the ropes, so you don't have to have all the pitfalls, and you know what to prioritize. They're going to support you, give you feedback, and help you develop discernment, which is very important, spiritual discernment. And a little note here is you're also going to learn discernment on your own GPS, your spiritual guidance system, of the right teachers to be in connection with, and how long to stay with those teachers. Fifth benefit of becoming your own spiritual guide, more energy and motivation. Of course, life is going to throw things at you. You're going to have inner resistance, fears, critical parts. This isn't going to work out. What will people say? A lot of negative self-talk is going to get in your way. That's natural. And the outer resistance, people who might oppose you, even if for your quote own good, because they don't understand it, or it may threaten them in some way as you become more your spiritual guide. But you go through that, and you find a way of transforming and dealing with those situations, and even use those resistances, inner and outer, for your own development. And it will take you to where you want to go. And part of having this energy and motivation is that life has slowdowns, it has lulls, right? There are intervals, and you're going to be able to get through that with your spiritual guidance. It may be resting, it may be reflecting, maybe taking, quote, time out, yet you're going to resume. You're not going to give up and quit. You're going to keep going and have a renewed burst of energy and motivation and wisdom that will come to you. And the sixth benefit of becoming your own spiritual guide is healing and transformation. Well, they're all things, all of us have our traumas, our wounds, our karma to deal with, right? And that's part of the spiritual guidance program that you're on. It will find the right healing modalities, methods, people. We use holistic EFT energy healing with a holistic approach to it, spiritual kinesiology, healing from the soul. And one of our students that did a process with us using these spiritual holistic healing techniques, she found a place in her life where she was stuck about 20 years ago in her 40s, a midlife transition. And she had a lot of responsibilities for her family, for her work, and she felt stifled. That was the word. The feeling was stifled. Now, we did the clearing and the healing. Now she's 20 years later, by the way, doing this. She's freed of that energy, and going forward now, she feels more openness, more spontaneity. She doesn't feel so strictly having to control her agenda and schedule like she used to. And that's going to bring some wonderful possibilities into her life with the healing and transformation. So all those benefits, personalization, your personal guidance, the practices, the mentors, the energy, the motivation, the healing, all of that will be a way of you going forward in your life and living fully, embracing your life and your full potential, with a lot of synchronicities that will occur, some quite surprising ones as well. Now, we here at Awakenings Institute have developed a spiritual guide and intuition certification program that has 4 key elements that are interrelated. I'll share them with you briefly. So the 4 that we've used and developed that we find extremely effective, one is the spiritual healing, the energy healing, which I've referred to. We use the holistic EFT, spiritual kinesiology, and other modes, and working with higher beings, angels, and so forth to help facilitate the healings. The second part of the spiritual guide program, a resource, is connecting with angels, archangels, directly for healing, and their love, their support. It's very sublime, and it's there for the asking. The third part of this program, Spiritual Guide Intuition Development, is working with ascended masters. The enlightened masters, unlike the archangels, these are people who have lived on earth and have mastered many lessons. So now they're on the other side, directly able to communicate with us their abundant wisdom if we know how to connect with them, and use them as a tremendous resource to help us go forward on our spiritual journey into the higher realms, taking that into our earthly existence now and daily. And the last piece, the fourth piece of our spiritual guidance program, is oracles, oracle decks, oracle cards. You may have some, the most well-known is Tarot, but there are many kinds, and there are hundreds of decks out there. Some of them are much higher quality relative to spiritual growth than others, and we've curated through many of them and found a few that are particularly helpful, and they key in on finding hidden connections and knowledge and producing all kinds of synchronicities in your life and sort of a daily meditation and enrichment. And they go with the other tools of the spiritual healing and connecting with archangels and masters, and they all can be done through the cards as well, the right decks and how to use them. So that's it. That's the spiritual guidance program. If you're drawn to that, it can make a big shift, some major shifts and transformations in your life, and it could be a wonderful journey for you. And looking at the big picture, if this is something you're drawn to, becoming your own spiritual guide, it could be the best thing you've ever done for yourself, for others, and even for the planet.